Hey guys, it's your boy Anti-Senpai here. Whew, boy, I haven't done one of these in a while. Anywho, so I'm just making this video to kind of share my opinion about what's been going on with Brave Eggs just lately and talking about what's coming up. So, well, let's get to the good parts first. So, Global, Axstar is finally coming this week, and also bringing a new Global original, which totally blew me away, Xeno, which is Axstar's evil version. That's some really good news for Global, like to be introducing this unit because Global's been kind of shitting on all its fans for a while now. Like we needed a boost, honestly, I think. And Esther was first fantastic surprise for everybody to being such an OP unit. And now they're adding a second one. And Golbez, which is, he's not the best, but he's definitely the best one for now. So that was nice to see. So I'm really looking forward to see what's gonna be coming up for Global down the line now. If you told me a year ago that I would be more hyped for a Global banner than something whatever's happening on JP, I would have said you were crazy. Anywho, so that's good news for Global. Now on JP, I'm sure most of you already know the fiasco. They started making CG units limited. They started with, I think it was with, I don't remember actually. Was it Final Fantasy III that was the first one to do that? I think so. It was around that time. Anyway, they also introduced CG Rain, a very powerful physical unit who was also limited, and then CG Thena, who was powerful dark mage, black mage, who's also limited, and that really pissed off a lot of people because like they were, yes, they were CG, but they're part of the story. So like making story characters locked behind limited banners was really crappy. So and even worse, like a lot of people, like me included, thought that, oh, they're limited, so they're gonna put their 7-star awakening crystal in the trust shop eventually, right? Well, if if they're gonna do it, they haven't done it yet, and nobody, like JP hasn't said a word. So usually the 7-star crest comes about, I want to say about 4 to 6 months after the banner. Like these last ones up here, they're from Octopath Traveler, and that was like what, October, somewhere around there. So there's still a chance they'll do that, and honestly, with the way things are going now, I think they better. So yeah, it was just so disappointing to see this, and now of course they, so far we've had Rain, Fina, Dark Fina, Onion Knight, CG Onion Knight was limited. Now of course Noctis here, and I think was there one more before all that or around that? I don't remember. Anyway, so the big outrage. I mean, already nobody was happy that these CG units were limited. We were upset. Then they sort of, the straw that breaks the camel's back, added Luna Freya, and she's a limited unit. But she is a one of a kind limited unit because she is neither from a crossover event and she is not CG, yet she is limited. That that was like that's probably the worst PR move I have ever seen. Like people were already pissed about the Summon Festival limited unit thing, then you just throw in Luna Freya. She's not CG, she's not a crossover unit from another franchise, and she's limited. Why? Because screw you, that's why. And JP hasn't said a word. Like, hopefully, like one of my Twitter friends, Raf Zero, said hopefully that they might say something. I think with like the story update stream or something. And boy, they better, because if they don't, oh man, people are already leaving the game in droves. Umbra raids have stopped. I think the Italian guy, what's his name? His name's escaping me right now, but I think most of you will know who I'm talking about. Has stopped playing. Uh, and it's just like Yeah, me, I'm still playing because, I don't need these units personally. I do want Dark Fina because I already have her as her 6 star. So, like, these units are OP, but I have basically every unit I could ever want. And I've never had to spend a dime. And I've pulled, like, crap ton of units. And I'm very thankful. But, honestly, like, it's just a mess. Now, the thing is, though, I do want to say this doesn't mean JP has to end. There is still hope for JP, but they have to find a solution that doesn't just screw over its entire fan base. They have to they have to find something. Me, I have a couple ideas of what they could do. Number one, of course, is to absolutely make these units 7 star crystal be in the Trust Coin shop. That's without question. You cannot do that. If limited units from other franchises have them, there is no reason for the Final Fantasy Brave Exorcist limited units to not have them. That would honestly be the last nail in the coffin if they don't do that. Another solution is to make them available in the UOC after a certain period of time after their release. So, like, you release them, they're limited, they're the hot new unit, but then after a couple months, new hot new units will be released. Hopefully, not all of them will be limited, and then they be added to the UOC pool. I think that's a good solution. The best solution for the fans, of course, would just to not make limited units that are not from crossovers and just put them all in the UOC. Of course, I'm sure like that wouldn't help them with their money problems, which they apparently have. So I don't know what to tell you for that. But yeah, Rav Zero on Twitter also told me that they should maybe add a CG pool. So you would have a pool, you would have this pool of all the UOCable units, but then they would put the CG ones in a separate pool. That's a good idea. I don't think JP will do that, unfortunately. It would take some reworking of their already current pool system since there's already Lightning and a couple of it. Although, now that I think about it, like, yeah, I don't know. Well, the question is, would they add only the CGs from Lightning and then forward, or would they add all the previous CGs, including Lastwell and whatever from the first, like the first CG generation, I call them? That's a good question. Either or, actually, that would still be really good. And I don't know how they would work that, but the problem is if they do that, though, they might not. We'd have separate tickets than these Select Summon tickets. I'm sure they would do that. That would be a crap move, but I am certain they would do that, pull that off. And you'd be like, ugh. So we'd have to get two different type of UOC tickets now. You'd have the regular UOC and the rainbow CG UOC. Ugh. Anyway, so I do want to think positively though, and think that there's still hope for JP to come out of this, not unscathed, but at least, with a chance of hope that things will be better down the line. That remains to be seen, unfortunately. So, yeah. So, well, that's all I can really think to say on the subject, really. People, I can't blame people for leaving, that's their right, and they, if you, especially like, I've been able to get a lot of units, but then I from my early global experience when I started playing back when the game was released, I can tell you that not having rainbows can be like when you're invested in this game can be really depressing on you. Like I didn't get my first rainbow ever was Delita, who was the no correction. My first ever rainbow was a Medius, which is a really crappy unit, and this was before they had the guaranteed 5 star rainbow thing. Like, so when you could, those of you who are newer won't know that, but before, if you got a rainbow, it could be any unit in the game that can be ascended to 5 stars. It wasn't necessarily a 5 star character, and I remember getting that Medius, and I was like, actually, now that I think about it, I don't even think Lightning had been released yet, so I guess it wouldn't have mattered who I got. But anyway, and then I got Delita, And then after Delita, I didn't get anyone for the longest time. I think the next rainbow I got after Delita was Olive, who came like way after. Like, I don't want to say like a year, but it was, I don't remember. And then I think I got, then the next one I got was Noctis, the original Noctis. So yeah, so I didn't have rainbows for a very long time in global. So for those of you who are unfortunately less fortunate, I feel your pain because I've lived it. So yeah, it's really sad to see such a good game have such a big stain on its reputation now, because even if they manage to overcome this, this is never gonna go away. Like, there will always be, like, we will always remember, like, oh, but what about that time you did that? Because it was such a crazy stupid move. Like, literally one after the other. Oh, limited CG units. Oh, limited Lunafreya. What were they thinking? I'm like, I want to be like, okay, so I don't live in Japan. I've never been to Japan, although I sure as hell want to go one day. Like, I'm trying to be in their mind and think, where did they think this was gonna go? Like, yes, I'm sure this game has a ton of whales, but like, if you're only making things to satisfy the whales on the game, you're not gonna survive. Like, whales, doesn't matter how much money you pay out whales, they're not paying enough money to fund a company. I mean, over the year, like, no, it can't be. Like, when you have a company, when you compare the influx of cash a company makes from its products to, like, say, whales paying out, I don't agree. I mean, then again, I could be wrong on that, because last year, Fade Go, which is the other gacha game I'm heavily invested in, made $1 billion from the gacha, from people paying gacha. But it's not exactly the same. It's a very different game, so I can't compare it to Brave Exvius, really. Like, even though the gacha is way more brutal in that game. 1%, 5-star rate. God. And, yeah, anyway. So, yeah, so that's all. There's still no news on JP. Like, I think they're kind of waiting for the Noctis Lunafreya banner to be over. And, no, actually, the only bit of news they announced, yeah, okay, so there's gonna be more, like, we're gonna be getting a little bit of Lapis, and I mean, like, you see, like, 200. Gonna be getting some Lapis soon, and some couple of EX tickets. And, yeah, there's gonna be a new challenge stage. The second week of the Noctis event, we're gonna have this hard trial. Which way, is it already available? Oh, crap, it's already available. I'm just... I forgot to move my clock forward, so it's not appearing in the list. Well, I'll make sure to do that after I'm done recording this. So yeah, I really hope JP can oh, look at that. Well, I'll do that later. I can do it now, whatever. I really hope JP manages to find a solution, because I really love this game, and of all the I've played, like, of all the gacha games I've played, which is not much, I've played like maybe 4 regularly. Of the 4 gacha games, it's definitely my favorite one, and I've always loved Final Fantasy, even though I'm a fairly new fan compared to most people. So yeah. Well, here's hoping that they'll find a solution, and that pleases the fans and allows them also to, not go out of business, because apparently some of my friends have said that, apparently Gummy Asia, who's in charge of JP, has been losing money every quarter, which kind of boggles my mind, because I'm like, what? I don't know. I don't know all the workings of Gummy Asia, but I'm like, you'd think that they'd manage to find a way to make money when there are so many other gacha games out there that are finding a way to both make money and please its fan base. And yes, I am talking about Grand Blue Fantasy. I don't play that game, but from what I've seen and heard of its fans, that game is amazing. Like, it's like super generous and things. I'm like, anyway, I'm ranting. So, if JP does go on, I'm going to estimate that the next CG banner after this will be Final Fantasy IV. We just got Final Fantasy IV in global with Golbez, and if I'm thinking correctly, Cecil is the last of the what I like to call the original games, which is like 1 through 8 or 9. Well, yeah, no, yeah, I guess not. Yeah, he's not. Okay, no, the 1 through 6, let's say. Yeah. He's the last of the original 6 games because after they went to 3D. So yeah, he's the last unit of the original 6 games they have not yet released. So hopefully it will be him. And I'm going to say I am a little bit worried because yes, right now they're still limited. And that means that if we eventually get a CG Cloud, CG Zack, who are automatically going to be overpowered, like, there's no way they're going to release a subpar CG Cloud and Zack. Oh, not Zack, I'm sorry. Leon. Squall. There's no way those guys are not going to be, like, huge meta breaking. Even without seeing them, having heard anything, I already know those guys are going to be, like, the hot new thing when they drop. So I don't know. Another thing that worries me now is since they have Luna Freya, I'm certain we're going to get another Sephiroth unit because this Sephiroth is kind of meh now. He's still really good, but when you have units like Rain, CG Rain, and those other people, he's not as good. Like if you have CG Rain or Axstar, you have absolutely no reason to use Sephiroth. Like my Sephiroth has been sitting on the shelf for months ever since I got Axstar. I don't think I've used him once since then. So I'm pretty certain we're going to get another Sephiroth unit down the road. I don't know what he will be exactly. Maybe he'll have like his black wing out permanently or something. One-winged angel Sephiroth. I don't know how they'll separate him from this guy. But he better, since he won't be CG since he's not a protagonist. Although that would have been cool if they made him CG, but oh my god, if he's limited, that honestly, I don't think JP will get that far if they continue acting like this. Like, if they don't give us, like, if they don't apologize, if they don't say anything, or whatever, if they just keep doing this, the Summon Festival, and like, like fuck you, and just keep releasing these units, it's not gonna survive. It will be dead by the end of the year. Of that, I'm certain. So, yeah. Or at least, then again, maybe not, because Brave Frontier is basically dead game. Like, almost nobody plays Brave Frontier now. I don't see anybody who plays Brave Frontier. And, like, it's still going. Silently, quietly, I guess. Of course. Of course, I'm thinking about global Brave Frontier. I've never played JP Brave Frontier, so I don't know how they're doing. I know they have a Brave Frontier 2 now, so I don't know. Anywho, so if anybody plays Brave Frontier 2, tell me, how is the game doing? Is it like a good game? Is it successful? Is it worth getting into? Because I do like Brave Frontier, the original, but I don't really play it anymore because there's like no point, really. So yeah, if somebody plays Brave Frontier 2, give me a little bit of feedback on that. So yeah, I really hope that JP manages to get its act together. We still have. So let's see. I'm trying to think. We have Cecil left. We have Cloud. We have Squall. We have Shantoto. We have Y'shtola and some of the 14 characters. We have Zidane. We have Van left. I really don't care about Van. Like, I think of all the Final Fantasy protagonists, he is the one I'm least interested in. Like, even if he's like a big meta breaking unit, which I doubt, like, oh, CG Van, I'm gonna be like, eh. I'm forgetting a unit, aren't I? Oh yeah, Tidus. That's a unit I'm looking forward to. CG Tidus. I expect his animation will be really cool. Yeah, hopefully. So yeah, also a little bit of thing. So don't worry, I won't put any story spoilers, but so season 3 is about to roll around. It's like coming out like next month, or wait, no, we're May, so it's coming out like this month. And I just want to say that that's another worrying factor to me because the story of season 3 sounds, I mean, they haven't said any story spoilers or anything, so I can't spoil to you what I don't know. All that I know, and this has been general knowledge for everybody, is that Season 3 will star Fina. She's the only confirmed character to return right now. And it will take entirely place in the far plane, Moogle world. And that's really kind of a turnoff for me. Like, Fina is an okay character. Like, she's definitely not the most interesting female Final Fantasy character, you know? And I'm like, can she, if she's the focus of the season, can she hold up an entire series, like, as the main protagonist? So I kind of see what they're doing. Like, season 1 was focused on Rain, season 2 was focused on Lastwell, now season 3 will be focused on Fina. I'm like, I just don't see her being a main character. Like, if you told me, for example, like, oh, they're making a game with Aranea as the main character, I would be, hell yeah! Aranea can totally hold up. Or like, for example, I really love Terra. She's one of my favorite characters. Lightning is not. She's another character where you're like, ugh. Anyway. So, yeah, this third season, and they showed us a world map, like of a world map of season 3. The entire world map is empty space because it's the far plane. It's literally just a void, a nebulous void with like, and I'm like, I mean, I'm sure they'll add continents, like, or whatever. I don't know what it will be exactly. I'm sure they'll add some sort, but for now, it's literally an empty void. And I'm like, that's really not appealing for a world map. Like, when you have this, like, the sea with a bunch of islands and stuff and continents, you're like, hell yeah, RPG 101. But just, like, having empty space and, well, this is just my personal opinion, of course, but just having empty space and not seeing anything and, like, oh, they might add, little bits and pieces there. I'm like, meh. But what I really wanted Season 3 to be was it to be something like Final Fantasy IV The After Years, where it takes place, like, let's say, 20-ish years after the end of Season 2, and you follow a whole new set of characters that are, like, let's say, Rain and Axstar's children. I mean, oh, the fanfiction. Rain and Lastwell's children. And things like that. And just, I think that would have been much more interesting. I remember Golden Sun. They did something like this. After the first 2 games, they released, like, in 2011, many years after Golden Sun Dark Dawn, I think it was called, and it followed basically the children of the characters from the original 2 Golden Sun games. It was really fun. I mean, it wasn't, like, I don't remember anything about the story, and I do remember the final boss, well, like, the main antagonist, was basically a copy-paste version of the one from the original 2 games. So it was like, but it was fun to have new characters, like old faces and new faces. That's always something fun, unless you're Boruto. Old faces and new faces is always like kind of a cool thing. You're like, oh yeah, you're playing as the new hot characters, new young characters, and then you have the old ones still in the background. Like Devil May Cry 5 and 4, let's say. Let's count 4. But especially 5, because 5 you're playing mainly as Nero and V, but Dante's still there, and he's playable, in a good part of the game, and just like, even though they're not like the focus character, well, Dante is, but I mean, like, the other characters are not like the focus, they're still there, so they give you kind of air of familiarity, I guess, and I always like that when they do sequels. Sometimes doing a completely new story can be fun too. Like, if they had done another story that was like, whatever years in the future, and it was just new characters, new contents, everything, that's fun too. That's fine. That's just a brand new story. Of course, often when you make a sequel of a brand new story, automatically people start comparing it to the old one. So they're like, oh, this character isn't that interesting, and this isn't as good as the old one, and whatever, and I don't do that. I'm just like, new stories, like, okay, yeah, new story, fun, fine. Unless, of course, the story is, like, really disastrous. And it sucks, and you're like, oh, this is terrible. Anyway. So, yeah, unfortunately, a little bit disappointed for that. I might be surprised, though. The third chapter might be, arc, whatever, might be actually unbelievably amazing. And it has a lot to live up to compared to Season 2, though, because Season 2 had its ups and downs, and it dragged on a lot. Like, every time I thought, okay, we're getting near the end of Season 2, it was like, nope, we're not even halfway, bitch. And then I thought about it, and I was like, oh, that's true. Like, Season 1 lasted like 2 years. So, like, basically, like, a new season will be every 2 years approximately. So unless those 2 years are up, you're not done with the season. And but it ended really strongly. The end was hype, and I enjoyed it. And so I'm eager to see where Final Fantasy, where Brave Exvius takes the third season at. So yeah, we'll see, I guess. So that's about all I have to say. I can't think of anything else really additionally to say. Just I will be doing a video on Friday for Axstar Xeno. I'm going to spend everything. Fortunately, I had like 20,000 lapis, no, like 16,000, and I spent it all on Esther against my better judgment because she was so OP. And I was like telling myself, dude, Axstar is almost certainly next, or very soon. You should save your Lapis. And then I was like, well, you know what? Axstar is good, but I can always just not pull for him and wait for CG Rain after, and just go for Esther, which is what I decided to do, and I was unsuccessful. But anywho, I do have enough to UOC either Axstar or Xeno twice, so I might be doing that if I don't pull him with my tickets and the Lapis I have now. So, yeah. I think that's about it. I've not been lucky in pulling Dark Mage CG Fina. I did the first 2 steps of this thing, and I got here. Oh man, on that second step, I got that rainbow in the middle, and I was like, okay, well, this is either Lunafreya or Fina. And I didn't want Lunafreya at all, because on one hand, I don't need her, and on one hand, kind of what she represents as this weird in-between non-CG limited unit, and I was like, you know, I really don't want her. So I just wanted, and it ended up being Hio, which is like, ironically enough, this was only my third Hio of all the time that I've pulled, but I was like, that was like the one unit, like, I used to worship Hio practically in JP, like, he was my main DPS for so long. And then Axstar came, and even after Axstar dropped, I kept using Hio because I didn't have the right equipment for Axstar, so he couldn't be as strong. Then eventually, I started focusing on getting TMRs for him and STMRs, and now Axstar was my main guy, and he still kind of is. Right now it's been Onion Knight, and now I use CG Rain because CG Rain. But yeah, I'm kind of trailing off here. I'm starting to get off subject. Anywho, that's gonna be it for me. Again, RNGesus, save JP for us, please. Make JP great again. And yeah, I'll see you all on Friday. Well, or you'll see me on Friday because I'll be uploading my video. I wish you all good luck in your gacha pulls, whether they be FFB or otherwise. And right now I'm gonna go play some FGO. Alright, bye.